Oh, Matt, to see our teammate, Matt Forte, out there getting some love on the sideline with Freddie Gibbs, right?
Yes.
Who we just heard there in the open. What was that experience like for you, first of all, Matt?
Yeah, it was good. It was good just to be back out there on the field. And I think a few people had asked me, is like, what's the feeling like out here right now? Being I've been to Soldier Field and returned to for games and stuff like that, and have been honorary captain before, but that was regular season, and to be out there for a postseason, playoff game, and it to be under 20 degrees and snowing sideways. It was one of those that same. It's almost muscle memory. It came back to me where I walked out there and I was looking at my wife like, man, this is the run the ball type of weather, you know. And I saw that green grass out there and I got excited too. I was in the mode. I was like mentally feeling like I was supposed to be out there getting ready to play.
I love that the muscle memory kicked back in for you, and you start thinking about, let's put the pads on, let's go out there and run the rock like that. There's been an energy with this Bears team this entire season, but the last two games, like the energy at Soldier Field, I'm jealous that I wasn't there to just feel it, because everyone who I've talked to, whether it's been former player, people who cover the team, people who cover the opposing teams, everyone kind of felt that vibration at that place.
Yeah, absolutely. And I understand now being there, especially in that moment with the fourth and forward play at the end of the game to tie it up. You feel the vibration of the stadium, and man, it was a wild place to be at that time and moment to see that and experience it. But
Tell us,
yeah, Soldier
tell us
Field
about it,
definitely has a
Matt.
vibe.
Sit in that. Tell us about where were you? What were you thinking as that? It's one of the great plays of our football lifetimes, frankly.
Yeah, absolutely. I was in the suite defrosting, warming up because I had stayed out there. Um, I never went in. I stayed out there the whole pregame, and then I had a little on-field interview and stuff during the game, and got the crowd hyped to start the game off with. So I was up there, and man, it was amazing. I'm sitting in Mr. President Kevin Warren's suite, and I'm sitting next to Mike Singletary, Hall of Fame Mike Singletary, and I'm watching the game. I'm like, this is unreal. Like, who gets to do this type of stuff? And in that moment where you feel, or you're thinking that there is no way out of this. There's, how are we going to tie this game up and keep it going into overtime? And especially when he got the ball and started to retreat and turn his back towards the end zone, I thought there was no hope. I was like, oh, it's a wrap. And then he doubled back and turned the other way, and I was like, it's really no hope. And then that ball floated in the air for so long, and I saw Komet in the back of the end zone, and where he threw the ball, it was almost like it was in slow motion. I was like, they as soon as I saw when it was like the ball halfway there, and I saw that Komet was in the end zone over there, I was starting to think to myself, there's a chance. And then the DB could not locate the ball and ran up towards the end zone. Then I was like, oh, it might happen. And when he caught the ball, oh my gosh, the stadium, the suite, everything just erupted. It was insane.
You know, I got to say, it's beautiful to hear about, and you deserve to be in that moment sitting next to Mike Singletary, Matt. And like, I think for Bears fans, that's what we like to imagine is the thing. Like somewhere, in heaven, it's Buffon and Butkus are sitting next to each other and watching the game, and in a suite at Soldier, Forte and Singletary are sitting next to each other watching the game.
The first thing I thought when he said that, Speaks, is like, did you guys swap Earl Campbell stories? Like, that was the first thing that came to my mind, because we know that
Matt's dad played against Earl,
and we know that Singletary played against him in the pro. Look, so I was like, let's put all the connections together and just be total geeks about football.
Who are the other Bears that were in there? Who are the other former players that we want to know we're all hanging out?
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of my former teammates. Kyle Long was out there. I got to talk with him, and man, it was just good to see him, and that he is a much different guy from when I first met him as a rookie, back in, I think, 2014, 2015. And man, he's a husband, he's a father now. So like, it was great to see the maturation of some of the young guys that I play with. Um, who else was out there? Yeah, J Mac, Jason McKee, who works and does radio and covers the games and everything too. But he showed me how to be a pro when I was in 2008 as a rookie. And as a fullback for me, blocking, opening up holes and blocking the way, leading the way. I remember Jason was a game my rookie year against the St. Louis Rams at that time. And the first possession of the game, I think I fumbled. And so he comes to the sideline, and I had this look on my face. He's like, "Hey, man, the game ain't over with yet. Man, get excited. Hey, it's like James Brown, the big payback." And I was like, "What?" And he made me laugh. And so we went back out there, and I proceeded to run for like 150 yards and like 2 or 3 touchdowns. And I'm grateful for moments like that. You never forget those because your teammates just mean more to you than just somebody who's alongside of you going through, the football motions where so that was awesome. And I got to see Zach, the former tight end that was with us.
Zach
Zach
Miller.
Miller, who, at a time where Zach was looking for a home and for a team to play on, and he kind of made his way here and started, becoming a name. So it was cool to see him again. And I think that was about it. But man, it was just good to see those guys out there again.
Yeah, and beyond that, like Speaks and I were joking about it that Soldier Field became the place to be. Like a bunch of your ex teammates have been there over the last couple of weeks. The biggest stars of Chicago have been there, whether it's Freddie Gibbs or Chance the Rapper or Common or Jennifer Hudson, Spike Lee popping up last week. Like
Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, I mean, I love how like a bunch of Bears fans, like famous Bears fans, kind of came out of the woodwork. The woman who does Lois's voice on Family Guy, she was out here in these Twitter streets talking about the Bears. So I mean, it's just everything, like everything kind of. It was fun for me to kind of watch it from afar to play out the way that it's played out, where now the Bears are kind of back to being a national brand. We all know that before that was the case because it's the charter franchise, but seeing people be so excited about the Bears as an organization and as a team because of what Caleb has done, I find it to be pretty spectacular, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It brought me back to when we used to travel to the West Coast, and you would have more Bears fans there than the opposing team that we were playing. And it would be, whether it was Dallas that we would play in their stadium, and you hear the "Let's Go Bears" chant towards the end of the game while we're winning, or if we were on the West Coast and you got all these, Bears fans that's out there, and you're like, man, we in Cali and we got all these, Bears fans out here. So it brought me back to that moment too. But also it gave me an appreciation for the respect that is being earned that the Bears. I'm not saying it's just given. They're earning the respect again out there, because I can remember a time where people, not only just people, but like the media, they would hate on the Bears. We would win a game and they barely show any highlights or something like that. And it's like, what's up with that? Like, they showing highlights of this, a team that's not even in contention for the playoffs or something, just because somebody may have a bigger name. But that brand of the Bears is definitely coming back to its glory days.
Absolutely. Shout out to Alex Borstein,
yes,
who is brilliant as Susie Meyerson on The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel as well. Matt Forte with us. Yeah, when Ben Johnson said he thought the Bears were a sleeping giant, we have seen what the giant looks like, right? You've been eloquent talking about the good things that Ben has done, and we'll have time for that. But what bothered you on Sunday night, Matt, of the decisions, of the play calls, of anything, 2 points or not? Like what did you disagree with during that game as you watched it?
Yeah, these are always, hard to break down, but also at the same time, we also know that hindsight is always 20/20. I would have liked to seen that, we get the opening kickoff and it's our opening drive, and instead of going for it on the fourth down and not getting it to get points on the board, even though analytics say this, and a lot of times people rely on the analytics and going for it on fourth down and these things. But if I'm in a playoff game and we're, that close within field goal range. And I think I would want to get the 3 points on the board.
That
And if we
matter
look at
that
the
matter to the
course,
players, Matt. I'm sorry to interrupt, but that matter to you as a player to feel that in a game like that, feel like you got the lead.
I think it's beneficial for the start to where how you open up to start with points. I think is beneficial mentally, but also just in the course of the game. Because if we look at the way the way that the game went, we could have used those 3 points towards the end of the game. Now, it doesn't mean that the same exact outcome would have happened, or a better outcome would have happened. The course of the game may have changed, but to have 3 points on the first drive, because as soon as they got the ball after that fourth down turnover on downs, they went straight down and scored. So, instead of 7-0, it's 7-3, and you got a chance to go on top with another score, or to be close, with another field goal. So, I think it's highly, it's kind of controversial and a little bit overrated, how people are going for it so much on fourth down. But in certain situations, it's definitely situational to be able to go for it. And guys are doing it more. It's almost like Madden, where people are just, I'll just go for it, So yeah, that was one thing. I wasn't displeased with much else other than that, except maybe on the, and it's easy to nitpick these things, because I think Ben Johnson has done a great job and is doing a great job. But on the goal line stand, I'm always a big fan of stretch run plays on the goal line, or like short distance, because it gives you more time to zone block. And if the defense does a stunt, a slant, or an out stunt, or whatever, you can kind of be patient as a back and get 2 or 3 or 1 or 2 or 3 yards up in there. And he had more time to get ahead of steam and to get the linemen to get on their blocks. When you do dive plays straight ahead, you really got to have some dogs up front that's just going to really, as one of the O-line coaches, Aaron Cromer, used to say, if the O-line scores, then the back scores. So if you push them, and that's grown men in front of you, if you push them far enough ahead, that's the only way you're going to get that first down or the score. But if you can zone on one side or the other, then you can kind of sneak in there. I remember the Patriots during their tenure with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. They would only run on short distance or goal line plays. They only ran outside zone runs, stretch plays to the right or to the left. And that was that. They didn't have a giant goal line package. If it was the run package, they ran outside zone right or outside zone left.
I always love to try and key in on what pros see versus what the laymen see. And when it comes to you watching games, I know you're watching tape and you're breaking it down for us, and it's appreciated. Is there anything that you saw being field level or at the game that maybe you didn't have an appreciation for with this team, and maybe Caleb in particular, that now that you've seen it up close, there are things that you better understand?
Yeah, I would say the things I have I think not being from afar and being up close as an appreciation for this team is the culture that they've developed. That's one thing. That's the first thing I really noticed, man. Um, DeAndre Swift coming up to me and being like, "Hey, man, it's the first time getting to see you in person and stuff." And I'm like, he's got a game to prepare for. They about to sing the national anthem. And he's like, "Man, respect, loved your game and big fan of yours," and all that stuff. Same thing with Caleb. Like, I've spoken to him before when he got drafted, hit him up via text and stuff, but I don't expect these guys to really, you know, honor anybody, before a game or something like that. So, talking to the guys, and even Jaquan, Brisker, him, saying appreciate you guys supporting us and being here, as an honorary captain and stuff like that. Like, that shows character and integrity from a standpoint that is really family oriented more than just football plays and football players. So that's one thing. And then the other thing was, man, the intensity at which everybody's locked in. And the way Coach Johnson was locked in, man, you can see it in his eyes. Man, it's like everybody is locked in and ready when the game is going on and starting. And the belief system, like, belief is so big when it comes to a team that is fighting for something. If there's one chain link in the one weak chain link, whether it's the first one or the last one, if it's like you're hanging off a cliff, whether the first one is weak or the last one is weak, if it breaks, everybody falls. And so everybody's got to be locked in just like that.
Incredible stuff from a true Bears great and Matt Forte, who has talked about what he has seen being built from the outside, but getting closer, you see it even more. Matt, do you remember a moment or an off season or sometime in your career early on when you learned, wow, it really is different year to year in this league? Because there's a lot of unrestricted free agents. There's a lot of guys out of contract. Some coaches are going to get new jobs. Like this, it looks different in year 3 than it did in year 2 for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Year 3, I go to the playoffs. We get a first round bye, and then we win a divisional round and go to the NFC Championship. And I'm like, man, this is year 3, and we got a great defense, and I think our offense is just gonna get better once we keep adding parts and pieces. Um, and then things don't go your way the next year, and then even the next year you win 10 games, and then Lovey gets fired. And so I was like, man, the turnover is crazy within the NFL. Um, and then noticing that we went through between that tenure 2 or 3 different offensive coordinators, and it's like, golly, the turnover is just crazy. Can we catch our breath? And you start to see that no one team, and we it's actually was kind of a thing that I don't know which coach, but they would always say it was that look around the locker room. Like once the roster is set, like look around this locker room, look at the guys, take it all in, because this locker room will never be the same. You know, this year, whether it be the starting lineup or the people that come in and out, roll in and out during the season because of injuries or whatever or whatnot. And like look around the locker room, because this team, and I'm pretty sure the people that make it to the Super Bowl say the same thing. Like take a look around the locker room, because this is a special group, but it will never be the same from year to year. Every season is different. You can go from running for 800 yards to 1,800 yards, the next year. So it depends. You got to really, and that's why it's so important. Like there's got to be a sense of urgency with everything you do within the NFL and within the game. Because one thing my dad taught me early on when I was a youth player in Little League was that if you take a play off, that's when you get hurt. And so there's got to be a sense of urgency within the NFL, not just to avoid injury, but to strike while the iron's hot. And I feel like with the Bears, the iron is extremely hot right now, and they have to continue to build and strike while that iron is hot.
What do you think they need?
I think the Bears need to continue to I can never preach it enough when it talks about bolstering up the offensive line. I think the guys did an amazing job this year, but to have, competition brings out the best in everybody. So not to say that just because they did a good job this year, the NFL is always like, what have you done for me lately? So continue to build that up. But also when it comes to the defense, we got to get pass rush. We need pass rush. We need to be able to get past. That's why a lot of the defenses that Lovey had was so great, because we didn't have to manufacture pass rush with blitzes a lot of times or confusing formations or alignments. We had some dogs up front, and you can get pressure with 4 guys. If you can get pressure with 4 guys, your DBs break on the ball faster. Your linebackers are able to be in coverage tighter, and it just makes everything harder on an offense to get yards. So I think in the trenches is where we need to support the support from the team most.
Man, it's when Matt Forte joined our team, and those were his words. I didn't even realize we were going to have this much fun and learn this much stuff during a magical and memorable Bears season, Matt. It's been truly great, man. We appreciate you.
Yeah, man. All love, man. It's been a blessing being a part of the team this year, and watching this ride that they've been on together as a part of the score team, bro. So it's been awesome, and to be at the game and experience it and stuff. Obviously, didn't turn out how we wanted it to, but I don't see the notch being turned down by them. I think it's getting turned up higher and higher because that's the way that this thing goes. That's the way that the mentality of the culture that has been created for the Bears is going to go right now.
Well, Matt, we appreciate you answering the call, man. This was so fun to watch you have fun with this, and because we've watched a lot of bad Bears games together, and now we get to watch good Bears games together, and that's even more fun.
Hey man, you reap what you sow. So we put in the work. Not only playing through some bad seasons and watching some bad seasons, now we get to sit back and like, hey, let's watch some real good football be played.
That's what's up. Thanks, Matt. We appreciate you, man.